Buy or rent? That's an excellent question in this housing market. In this video, I'm going to talk about the advantages of owning your own home. Yes, the housing market is crazy right now, and housing prices are up there, and in some areas they're pretty high up there. But there are some benefits to owning your own home, and they kind of fall into three categories: financial, social, and tax. So the first one I'm going to talk about is financial. When you buy a house, and I mentioned this in a previous video, you have to look at it as making an investment. And as you make those mortgage payments, you are building equity. And so it is an investment. And when you look at real estate, most of the time it is an appreciating asset. And therefore, it's a good investment. So that's a pretty big benefit to owning your own house. One of the nice things about home ownership is that you have control of the costs that you are going to incur with your utilities and some other things. If you rent, sometimes you don't have control over it. You can manage that. You can manage the electricity. You can put it on a payment plan. So you do have some control over what you're spending in that house. So that's helpful. And also, owning a home, if you're making your payments, helps your credit history. Making payments, mortgage payments on a regular basis, not being late, that helps your credit history. So those are just a few of the examples financially of the benefits of owning your own home. What are the social benefits of owning a home? These are things that we don't generally think about, but according to Realtor.com, people that own their own homes have healthier lifestyles. There is a health benefit to owning your own home, knowing you have your own place, and being happy in that place. A lot of the time when you own your own home, it's in areas where the crime rate is lower. It might be the suburbs or residential areas. And so you have a lower crime rate, which is important. Another thing that people state about home ownership is feeling like you're part of a neighborhood. When you have your own home and other people next to you also own their homes, you start to build that community because you're going through some of the same things together, because you're on the same street, the same things are happening, maybe your kids go to school. So that sense of community when you own your own home is a big thing. Socially speaking, owning your own home helps you to build that discipline of managing money, paying your bills, controlling your costs, and that all is helpful in knowing that you did something and were able to make it work. And finally, another social aspect that people mention as far as home ownership goes is that they feel like they have more privacy when they own their own home. Probably because frequently that is residential and you're not attached to other people, or if it's a townhome, you might be, but you still have your own entrance and exit and so forth. So that might be why that is. And finally, there are some tax benefits to home ownership. The first one being that mortgage interest can be deducted. So any interest paid on a home mortgage is tax deductible. So you wouldn't have that if you were renting. Another one is property tax. Depending on your jurisdiction where you live, you might be able to reduce your taxable income by taking some deductions for property taxes. So that's a second one. And finally, homeowners may be exempt from up to $250,000 after selling their home, and the exemption comes for the capital gains tax. You would have to obviously, for all of those, check with your accountant, your CPA, to figure out how those can benefit you. But for some homes and in some areas, those things will work, and that will be a tax benefit to you. So those are some of the advantages of owning that you would not necessarily have if you rent. I will see you next week. I am Sharon Rosa. You can email me at sharonrosa@kw.com. Make sure you subscribe at the bottom of the page, and I will see you next week. Have a great week.